When Ted Bundy slipped into Florida, he became a ghost in a new world. His face was plastered across the nation, yet no one recognized him in the quiet, southern city of Tallahassee. He rented a room near Florida State University, lived under a false name, and roamed the campus with the same calm confidence he displayed back in Washington. But something inside him had changed. His time on the run, the thrill of escape, the constant fear of being caught, it all pushed him deeper into madness. The man who once planned carefully was now driven by desperation. On January 15, 1978, Bundy committed an attack so violent, so chaotic, that it stunned even seasoned investigators. At the Chi Omega sorority house, he moved silently through the hallways like a shadow. He entered rooms while students slept peacefully, unaware of the horror about to unfold. Within minutes, 2 women were dead. 2 more were brutally injured. The violence was raw, uncontrolled, and vicious, a stark contrast to Bundy's earlier calculated attacks. He fled into the night, leaving behind a trail of destruction that became national news within hours. For the first time, the country saw the full extent of Bundy's brutality. The image of the polite, clean-cut young man began to crack. This wasn't a clever predator anymore, this was something far more dangerous. But Bundy wasn't done. In the following weeks, he attacked and murdered 12-year-old Kimberly Leach, a crime so horrific that it sealed his fate forever. Florida police intensified their search, placing roadblocks, interviewing witnesses, scanning hotels, and analyzing every lead. The entire state was on edge. Bundy, meanwhile, drifted through towns, stealing credit cards, cars, and IDs. His behavior became erratic. He slept in abandoned buildings, stole food from convenience stores, and wandered aimlessly. The thrill was gone. He was unraveling. His arrest came in a moment that almost felt anticlimactic. A police officer noticed a Volkswagen Beetle driving strangely. When he pulled the car over and questioned the driver, the man tried to give a fake name, but the officer sensed something in the man's trembling voice. The way he avoided eye contact took him in. At the station, Ted Bundy finally revealed his name. The officer later said, he looked at me and said it quietly, like he was surrendering to the world. I'm Ted Bundy. Florida had captured the monster, but the story was not over. The trial that followed would become one of the most famous in American history. Ted Bundy's final arrest felt almost symbolic, caught not by the FBI, not by a major task force, but by a single police officer doing routine patrol. After weeks of terror across Florida, after national headlines and mass panic, the man who evaded capture for years finally ran out of luck. When Officer David Lee pulled over the suspicious Beetle, he had no idea who sat behind the wheel. Bundy was nervous, but tried to hide it. He gave a fake name. He smiled politely. He pretended to be calm, just as he had done throughout his life. But something felt wrong. His hands shook. His voice wavered. His eyes dotted to the escape routes around him. Suspicion grew. Officer Lee arrested him. At the station, after hours of denying his identity, Bundy finally whispered the words, "I am Ted Bundy." The arrest made national news instantly. Florida police began connecting Bundy to multiple murders in the state. But as they dug deeper, they uncovered something more disturbing. His crimes linked him to Washington, Oregon, Utah, and Colorado. The story became bigger than Florida. This was a nationwide nightmare. Investigators transferred him across facilities, gathering evidence, interviewing witnesses, and preparing for the trial of the century. Reporters filled the hallways of every courthouse Bundy entered. Cameras followed him as he walked, always smiling, always confident, as if he were the star of a show rather than a man facing the death penalty. Bundy played into the attention. He understood the power of the media. He believed he could influence public opinion, charm the reporters, confuse the prosecutors. In some ways, he succeeded. People wrote letters to him. Women sent him gifts. Some even fell in love with him, offering emotional support to a man accused of horrific crimes. But the evidence was undeniable. Crimes in Florida were brutal, direct, and linked to him through eyewitness accounts and forensic analysis. Police uncovered fibers matching Bundy's clothing. They found bite marks that matched his teeth. Witnesses identified him confidently. The walls around Bundy began to close. Despite the mounting pressure, he remained strangely calm. Even as he sat in the interrogation rooms, he leaned back, crossed his arms, and smiled like a man who still believed he could escape mentally, if not physically. Bundy had always relied on two things: his intelligence and his ability to manipulate. But this chimney neither would save him. What followed next was a trial unlike anything America had ever seen. Not only because of the crimes, but because of the man committing them. Ted Bundy did not act like a criminal fighting for his life. He acted like a celebrity performing for an audience. The trial of Ted Bundy became the first televised murder trial in American history, and Ted embraced it. He wasn't just the defendant, he was the show. Cameras captured him, entering the courtroom with a confident stride, smiling, fixing his hair, adjusting his suit as if preparing for a performance. Reporters described him as handsome, charming, even likable, comments that disturbed and confused the public. How could someone responsible for such horror appear so polished? Bundy requested to act as his own attorney, which gave him special access to the courtroom, the evidence, and most importantly, the attention. He cross-examined witnesses, argued with the judge, and even flirted with female reporters. At one point, he proposed to a woman in the courtroom during his trial. The moment was surreal, almost theatrical, making the courtroom feel less like a place of justice and more like a stage.